So we're going to solve for x in this question. We talked about it a little before. The fraction is what makes this difficult. We essentially have two fractions here. Sometimes they call those rational terms. They can be difficult to work with. So our goal is to actually get rid of them. And a simple process that they learn in elementary school is to cross multiply. Okay? So when we cross multiply, we're just going to take the denominator from one side, multiply it by the numerator on the other, and then vice versa, denominator on the left side, and we're going to multiply it by the numerator on the other side. So over here, we're going to end up with 2 multiplied by x minus 2 is equal to x multiplied by 6 plus x. Okay? From there, this is actually more familiar, or we're a little more used to doing this. We're just going to use our distributive property. So we take the term on the outside, we multiply it by both terms on the inside. So we'll get 2x minus 4 is equal to 6x plus x squared. Okay? Now, we want to isolate 4x. Okay? And in order to do that, really the easiest way to solve for it is to set it equal to 0, because then that allows us to do some factoring to solve stuff. So we want this to be equal to 0. So I think what I'm going to try here is I'm going to take the two terms on the left side and I'm going to move them both over to the right side. So if we were to do this one at a time, I would add 4 to both sides of the equation. So that'll be step 1. So we'll still be left with 2x is equal to 6x plus x squared plus 4. And then I'm also going to subtract by 2x on both sides of the equation. When I do that, the left side of the equation is now 0, which is pretty important for us. That's one of our goals, is to set this equal to 0 to see if we can use factoring to solve this. On the right side of the equation, we're still left with 6x plus x squared plus 4, and then minus 2x. We can collect like terms, and we can also organize this in a fashion that we're more used to. We'll bring the x squared the farthest most to the left. We have two like terms, 6x and negative 2x. So when we put those together, we're actually going to be left with positive 4x. And then finally, we have plus 4. Okay? I'm going to jump to the top right-hand side of the page here. So we have 0 equal to x squared plus 4x plus 4. Now, this is something we can work with a little better. We have essentially something that we can factor. If we quickly take a look at it, we need two numbers that add to the middle and multiply to the outside. So if you're strong with your factoring, you're going to quickly see that, and it's actually plus 2, x plus 2 and x plus 2, which means we can actually represent it as x plus 2 squared. And we're going to work with it this way because instead of splitting the equation, we can actually narrow this down. Because there's a square root on the right side, we're going to square root both sides of the equation. Square root cancels out the positive 2. It makes it to the power of 1, which means we're now left with plus or minus 0, which is just 0. And then we have x plus 2. When I bring 2 to the other side of the equation, it's the idea of subtracting by 2 on each side, we have x is equal to negative 2. So starting at what looked like a pretty confusing question, we ended up with just one root. The one answer is that if we put negative 2 over here, we end up with the same answer on both the left and the right hand side of the equation.